All right, welcome back. This is Good Morning Kenya. Good morning to you. My name is Ram Aguko. You're just in time for the very first discussion of the day, and this is with regards to road safety. This morning, I'm joined by the chairman of Road Safety Association of Kenya, that is Bwana David Njoroge Kiarie. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Well, just as we talk about road safety, maybe you can tell us, first of all, how people can find the association on Twitter and on social media so that they can tweet and tag you.
Yeah, thank you very much, our viewer. It is very easy to get us. You can get us on Twitter, that is Dalcom. It is the Dalcom Kenya at Twitter, Facebook,
all right,
like that. You can also get us on our mails and everything. You can get us.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And you can also find us on Twitter at KBC Television. Start tweeting. Start sending us your questions at Ram Aguko. That is my Twitter handle. The SMS line is 20154. Start with the watch channel 1. Tell us your name and where you're watching us from. Now, this discussion is important. The question is, why do you feel it is? Well, did you know that between 3,000 and 13,000 Kenyans lose their lives in road crashes every year? The question is, what can we do about this? Now that we are, in the holidays, Christmas, New Year's is coming, people are traveling. How can we reduce this number so that we avoid getting to the news and every time you switch on your television, you get in the headlines, 10 people, 20, 50 have died on the roads. Bwana Kiarie, how can we reduce these numbers?
It is possible to reduce the number, and it is extremely very simple to reduce the number. It is just to change our altitude and to follow the traffic rules. Just that we don't have accident in this country, we only have crashes. Because all accident we have visited, it is very possible to save those.
They're all avoidable.
All over they are avoidable. But you see now with our culture, our altitude, we have to change.
I'm looking at the majority of these people who are vulnerable to these accidents.
Yeah.
They're road users.
Exactly.
We're talking about pedestrians.
Yes.
We're talking about motorcyclists. We're talking about cyclists.
Yes.
And in addition to this, nearly 1/3 of deaths are among passengers.
Yes.
What do you make of these numbers? Looking at these.
As I told you from the word go.
Yes.
If we change our altitude, because you realize with the passengers, you will find a vehicle which is full and somebody wants just to get in that vehicle. You'll be driven by a driver whereby you can recall that that driver is drunk and you just allow that driver to go with you.
So can we say that we as passengers are the
And I want to say, not
Kenya?
passengers, it is all of us. We have a responsibility, all of us, to make sure that we adhere to the laws, the traffic laws.
Now, you're in a hurry.
Yeah.
Uko na haraka, unataka kwenda nyumbani.
Ndio.
Gari ndio imejaa.
Sawa, kuwa na haraka, lakini my brother, when that accident happens, hiyo haraka yako imeishia hapo. So you'd rather take some time, lakini upatane na watu wako. You can imagine an accident happening. Even maybe you will not see wale watu ulikuwa unataka kuona. You will either end up in a hospital or in a mortuary. So what is good? You'd rather wait, have that patience, and you reach home.
What should a passenger do once you get to a vehicle and you feel as though there is something fishy going on, that's something that might actually endanger your life? This is with regards to even the driver, the conductor, or the vehicle itself, or even the conduct of the whole bus that you are aboard.
There are so many things you can do, because this is about your life.
Yes.
There is no way you'll be a passenger whereby you don't pay. You have to pay for the fare. So you are the boss when you're in that vehicle.
Yes.
So if you realize that the driver is not driving in the manner you think it is not proper, you should alight. You should just say now, and if every passenger can behave that way, that driver must behave, because they are on the road to make money. So they will not like to make losses. So the challenge and the problem we have is that one passenger will say this vehicle is not driven in a proper way, but because of our attitude, others will say no, you just get out. But if you care of your life and the people who depend on you, you'd rather get out of that vehicle.
So would rather get out,
get out of that vehicle.
take your money,
Take your money,
your refund.
Your refund, then go where you want to go.
Would you
But if they don't give you the money, we have very many numbers where you can call. We have NTSA, we have our association, and we have acted on that. If you don't get back your fare and you call to us, because we have all the numbers of the circles, we get back to that circle. They will give you the number, and most likely the driver will be punished.
Which number? How do they reach?
We have numbers, like now, for instance, if you Google NTSA numbers,
yes,
they are there for clients when you need what you call help. You can even call our personal numbers, like 0721858984. People have called. Well, when you're in that problem, just call us.
That number that you've said is for the association?
Yes. You just call that number, and you automatically get a help. Because wherever you are, we'll make sure that we call that circle. We inform the circle before we act. So the circle itself, they will talk to their driver or their conductor. They'll make sure they return the money, because if they don't return that money and we report that vehicle, they will lose more. Because if the vehicle is recalled back to the inspection, they will lose a lot of money than the money they should have refunded to you. So nobody will agree on that. So it is only for Kenyans to be enlightened, to know. And we are coming up with a number with NTSA, whereby every matatu must put that number on there, so that everybody can read the number.
So in case of, I
don't
want
anything,
complaints,
you
everything.
don't want anything. And also, like NTSA, it's good for us to be enlightened.
Yeah.
Like today, if you just go NTSA website, you will see a reporting somewhere you're supposed to report.
Yeah,
and immediately you report, NTSA will automatically act on it. I want to say this, NTSA were removed from the road. Now, on the road, you'll find the police. So you have the police, you have NTSA. NTSA, they are now the ones who are doing the policy making.
But sometimes when you are, on the road, you get to some roadblocks, and you'll find that there have been cases, because the reports have been there, Kiarie.
Yes,
the reports have been there with regards to bribery, with regards to corruption. You'll find that, there have been so many roadblocks that have been put in place, but a vehicle can pass all these roadblocks and get an accident far ahead. How can we reduce that kind of incident?
I've just told you again, about road safety is about your own responsibility. It's not about that policeman who is at the roadblock. Because if that policeman releases that vehicle and an accident happens, you are the person who is going to die, you are the person who is going to be taken to the hospital.
Now, what do
you
you
are
do
the
when
person who will lose your leg. And let me tell you one thing about corruption.
Yes.
Corruption is something which has eaten our society, not only on the road. It is killing our society. So, but here, when we say we stop corruption, just imagine where the corruption should start being stopped. It's from the top leaders to the down. And if there is corruption on our leaders, the level of the leadership, then automatically they are down. You'll see that corruption. But here we are talking about road safety. Let that police officer who is taking that money, he's taking that money in exchange of your life. So you should not allow things to happen, because the police officer will get the money, but the person to go to the hospital is you as a passenger.
That's quite interesting there. Do you feel you have any questions that you'd like to send to us? Remember, the SMS line is 20154. I would like you to tell us, what do you think is the main cause of these road incidences, accidents that are happening in Kenya? All these crashes that are taking place. What's the main cause?
I believe it is our culture. Our culture is rotten. We must change our culture. One, we don't want to follow traffic rules. And with accident, it's a matter of seconds, and things have happened. You make a simple mistake, whatever will happen is something whereby you will live to regret. So, but if you follow, because we have enough laws in this country, we don't want any other laws added. If we can agree to follow the law, this is why you see, we say, and we put it very clear, it is dangerous to drive a vehicle while you are drunk. And it is very clear. It is not only in Kenya, everywhere in the world.
Everywhere in the world.
It is dangerous to drive your vehicle while you are drunk. But even alcohol is there. You see through the social media, the alcohol is on this side. So what are you telling that person? To avoid the alcohol to go and kill himself on the other side. We have seen these things happening. Somebody is just told the alcohol is there. He goes on the other side. He's dead. The person who wrote that social media will live to regret, because it would rather that person to be arrested, because you could have got the following day cells, but now you're getting that person in the mortuary.
I remember there was a time the CS was talking about, reforms within the private sector, within the transport sector. He was talking about, looking into even driving schools. Let's pick it up from there also. How can we also, have regulation of driving schools so that you don't end up having people who don't have licenses?
That is why I'm telling you, with road safety, as road safety chairman, I want to tell you there is a lot to be done.
Yes.
For us to make sure that we decrease this number of accidents. And let me tell you, CS Matiang'i has done a lot. And he has done a very good job. Because now, when we complained, he started from even the driving schools. There are reforms now in driving schools. Because before, you could go in any driving school, go to a driving school in Mombasa and another one in Kisumu. They were teaching different things. But today there is a curriculum whereby that school in Kisumu is training the drivers the way the other school in Mombasa is training. And now you can see there is the written test now. This is not about you just driving your vehicle and going around. I've seen many people complaining that what about the illiterate drivers? We don't need illiterate drivers on our roads because signs are written. How will an illiterate person know that you are told to go slow? If we want to put our illiterate drivers on our road, then we must agree that we are not going to stop this carnage.
Some have not gone to school.
If you have not gone to school, forget about driving vehicles on the road, because all the signs are written, and they are written in English. So when you tell us that if we start doing the written test, the people who have not gone to school will not get licenses. Why do they have to get the licenses?
Let's talk about this written test. Yes. What is it all about? What does it entail?
Before, the tests were just done practically. Now it will be theory is part of it. What have you learned? Can you go just as a normal student, the way you go and sit for your exam? Can you write what you have seen? Okay. What were you taught? Before, you just take a vehicle, go around, you are told how to practically how to drive, and the game is over.
And I remember for the driving test, you move from one place to another, a short distance.
A very short distance. But there are so many things. Go to even a place like Britain. You want to get a license. It will take you 3 to 6 months to get that license, because you are trained, yes, practical, but you are now go back to class, whereby you must be taught about even the safety. What should you do if you see just something come in front of you? What reaction should come to you? Is it the first reaction, you just go to the brakes? You will kill yourself. So all these things must be properly trained. Now we are saying theory must be trained in school. And for you to attain proper theory knowledge, you have to write it down to see whether you have known what you've been taught. There is a lot when you talk of driving material than doing it practically. There are so many things. The things you'll find on the road there, they are not those things you found when you are trained there out. There is a sharp corner. There is a sign showing you there is a sharp corner. But by the time they were training you, there was no sharp corner. Just go through Thika Road. You find a driving school, a trainer training a driver on the left side of the road, whereby it is clearly written, keep left unless overtaking. And this is a trainer training. So that driver is half-baked. And those are the drivers who are killing us.
And I love that you are comparing Kenya with Britain.
Yes.
I'd also like to add Kenya with the United States.
Yes.
Looking at how hard it can be to get a driver's license there, would you say that it is quite easier to get a license in Kenya? I'm looking at this, you go to some fields You know, now that it's in Christmas, the festivities, people are going to start, you know, learning to drive using some crude methods. They won't even go to driving school. They will just get some driver who will take them to some field and then give them some, you know, exams there and do 1, 2, 3 things. Is it easier to get a driver's license in Kenya than anywhere else?
Let me tell you, forget about even going to train on that. That one is a bit better. Yeah. In Kenya, it was a way that you could get that license when you are at home, without even training anything.
Without even touching the...
Without doing anything. You just go to a driving school, you give your money, and because they want to show that they are having more students, they just bring that license at home. This is something practically which was happening. But that driver is a killer driver. If that driver gets... And then, how do we get our experiences? How do you know that a driver is experienced? Is the age of the driving license. If he has attained 4 years, that is a qualified driver. And maybe he has never even touched a vehicle. My friend, as just because the driving license has attained 4 years, that is a qualified driver. That is not a qualified driver.
But now I'm looking at the life of a Kenyan, a passenger. You've just gotten into a vehicle. You are not assured about the level of qualification that the driver who is going to take you from point A to point B has.
That is the reason the authority, and that is what now NTSA is doing. And thank that we had our DG, the other DG who has left. We have a new one, and I'm sure she's going to work on these things. This is why NTSA is working on that.
Do you have a plan?
Because the passenger there, the work of the passenger is not to look the qualifications of the driver. It is NTSA to make sure that that driver who is seated on that vehicle is qualified.
We have a highway code.
Yes.
What is the work of this highway code? Do people understand the role of that?
Well, let me tell you, that's what I've told you about theory.
Yes,
when you talk of highway code, ask any driver, what is highway code? They don't know. But they are driving vehicles. And most, even people you say they are very well experienced on our roads. And people who have licenses, 20 years, 30 years licenses in their pocket. They don't know what you're talking about because they were not taught anything about that.
Kama chemistry.
This is why we are saying now, you have to go back to school, theory. First, you start with theory. When you are through with theory, you go practical. Again, you go back to the same class now for tests, and you must attain above 80 for you to receive your license. So if you don't pass, you have to go back. And I think you have to stay, is it 3 to 6 months before you try it again? So you think again, oh, am I really a driver in this country? Or what am I? Because we have seen all sorts of people driving vehicles. Like today now we are going to the festive period. You will see what exactly happens. You will not see any vehicle for hire. They hire, all the vehicles will be gone. But they don't know who is this person they are giving their vehicle. Whether he is proper driver, as long as he has a license. And maybe that license, he has never driven a vehicle. For 1 year, the driving was there. Now it is Christmas time. He wants to show people in Oshad that when he's in Nairobi, he drives a car. So he will get that car. My friend, that is a dangerous driver.
Let's talk about motorcyclists.
Yes.
If you go to the hospitals, the number of instances that are reported in terms of road accidents from border operators are quite high. Why do you think that is the case? Why do we have border operators being
Let me say first, and I remember I said this. I want to thank our CS Matiang'i because this thing was more dangerous than anything else. Because in the first place, there was a very big mistake from the government how the borders entered into a country. There were no rules, there were no regulations, and there was nothing. This is why you see, even their training, you are given a border, you go around a roundabout, then you are qualified, you go and get your clients there. So, but with the stringent measures the CS has taken, you will see come next year, things will start changing. Because we are removing, he has really removed that thing of that you can just go around and get a motorbike. You must have a license. And let me tell you, before Matiang'i came, 90% of the borders who were on the road, none had a driving license. Now you can imagine, even a license, a riding license, they didn't have. And it was known that your brother has failed an exam, he cannot continue with his education. The thing
Boda
is,
boda.
get him a boda boda. Let him start earning. My friend.
I saw these social media tweets for KCSE result. The results had not yet come out, you know, bado. And someone is saying, kama mtoto amefeli mweke kwa boda boda.
Weka yeye kwa boda boda. That was our mind. At if a child fails in school, there's nowhere else that child will take him. Apart from boda boda. Thank to the government that now even the way they are changing the system so that these children will know that there are other things you can do apart from boda boda if you don't make it. Because it is not a must you make it. Because not everybody is academically smart. But in other areas, they might be smart. And also, our fight now as the association is to make sure that our CS puts this curriculum, road safety, on the curriculum of school. So that we start teaching our children about road safety when they are in school. And it will help.
Let's talk about, you know, now the children themselves. I remember when I was younger, I was being told, before you cross the road, look right, look left, look right again. If there is no vehicle, cross the road. Let's look at the children. Do you think that the curriculum, the education system, has them in place, you know, have them in mind, in check when it comes to road safety, specifically road safety? Do we have enough stringent plans that have been put to educate our young people when it comes to road safety?
Let me say it was not there. During your time, it was a bit better. That's what I'm telling you. It was a bit better that when you're in school, you could be told, look right, look left. And then you are told, there's something we call mkokoteni. It looks like this. There's something called a bicycle. It looks like this. There is a car and there is a lorry. Those things were taught in school.
Yeah.
This thing was removed. And that is why you see, from our children, they even don't know how to close the road. And they are very vulnerable. This is why you see now even NTSA have come up with other stringent measures whereby where there is a school, you must drive at 30. Why? Because, and this is why I've told you from the word go, this thing must be taken back to school, road safety, so that if a child is taught from childhood and knows about road safety, it's not a must that that child will be a pedestrian, while a pedestrian is even that person with a car, because there is no way one day you don't become a pedestrian. You will not get in your office with a car. You will not get into your bedroom with a car. So there comes a time when you are a pedestrian. But these children, when they are taught, they are the same people who are going to take over this country. They are the same children who will be driving vehicles on the road. But if they were taught at early age, they will be able to know. And this curriculum is not only here, it's taught all over the world.
And if they see carelessness, it will grow into them.
It will grow to them. And this is why we see corruption in Kenya. We have to do a lot of things because it has grown deep even to our... You're just talking of the big people. But even us, we are more corrupt than those people.
During holidays, you know, festivities, watoto wanakimbia kila pahali.
Yes.
They even run to the roads.
They even run, play football. They don't care. You find a child, the father has bought a bicycle because it is Christmas time. You want to make your child happy, but you're killing that child because he will take that bicycle, go on the road.
Can you speak to the parents outside here? How can they take care of the children, you know, so that you have your child safe? Wasigongwe na basi uko kwa barabara.
And if you know that you are in the urban area or the place where you are, there are vehicles. You must, because I know you want to make your child happy, you want to show your child that you can buy a bicycle. But I want to tell you, it is extremely dangerous. You might be buying something to kill your child. That child you love so much. But get that bicycle, give the child, you'll find him dead. Unless you train that child. This is where I want you to be riding.
Also, it's not bad to give them these bicycles.
Yeah, it's not wrong.
Just train them.
But
where?
The only thing is you train them. Even if you have a child and you don't train your child, what else do you expect when this child grows? This is why even the Bible says you must use a cane. So anything or anywhere, you must train that child. Let the child know. Anytime you want to cross the road, because maybe when you're riding, you'll find whereby there's a road and you want to go this side. But make sure you stop your bicycle there. Make sure you look left, right. And make sure you cannot see any vehicle coming. And if you see it, even if it is very far, stop till it passes. Then go the other side. But you don't have those basic training to your child, and you're just taking a bicycle to your child. it is very dangerous.
Unasema dadi shika.
Dadi shika mtoto wangu nakupenda. Utamweka kwa shimo.
Very sad.
And it will be very sad for you.
In Kenya, I'm looking at the numbers that have increased compared to last year. The accidents that have been there. Still, the statistics still remain alarming. You know, it is bugging at some point. But there was a, you know, there was a report that came out, and there were some certain hotspots in Kenya, you know, because now people are traveling, but people don't know about these hotspots that are there that I'll have a likelihood to, you know, cause some crashes. We have 9 locations with Luanda, Kilifi, Narumoru, Makupa, Sagana, Kapenguria, Matu, Bomet, and we have some parts of Nairobi recording up to, you know, 24 accidents within these specific hotspots. How can we locate them? How can we avoid them? How can we keep ourselves safe as we head over to these
I still insist that our government has a lot to do. NTSA, they have a lot to do when they are doing the policy. There's still a lot remaining. Just saying that this place is a hot spot, we don't want to hear about that. We want proper science, civic education, because that is what is eating our society. Sometimes it is ignorance. Sometimes you even don't know that this is a hot spot. How do you know? Who told you? How did you know that it's a spot?
You can't cram all these names.
You cannot, my friend, because you have read there. Do you keep on reading to know the hotspots in this country? Let them come up with a strategy. Let us put very big signs so that when you reach a place, and this is why I don't want illiterate drivers on our road, when you see a sign, you read, you know that that place I'm approaching is a very, very dangerous place. So automatically you take caution. But if you write in papers that this place is dangerous, whom are you telling? The people who read? Even those people who read, do you think they will remember when you're driving that I was told this place is dangerous? No. The NTSA, the government, has a lot to do with road safety.
You're talking about literacy. You know, some in the rural areas have, you know, lacked basic needs, and they're trying to make ends meet. And yes, they are illiterate. How can they sort out?
I want to tell you, my brother, it's free primary education now. So you can't come and convince us that you did not go to school because your parents could not pay your school fees. That was there then. But now, for God's sake, let your child go, even if it is at class 8. Somebody in class 8 is not an illiterate. He's somebody who can read and understand. and let me tell you one thing. You know, we must know that person who did not go to school had a lot of time to do other things. So they are the ones who are on our roads. So you went to school, this guy will come and kill you. With all whatever you have attained, the education, it matters when you come to the road, because you can be killed by this person. So, and what we are talking about here, we are talking about safety in this country. How much money do we lose in this accident? We are now currently going towards 4,000. During Michuki's time, when Michuki was mad, that is where we were going. Now we are trending to that level. We are going to 4,000 Kenyans losing life. And my brother, let me tell you, we only talk about the dead. When we are talking of that, we are losing 3,000 Kenyans. You must know that we have 8,000 Kenyans in hospitals who will never walk again, who will never go to work again.
Still, we have a lot to Let's talk about, you've mentioned Michuki, and I've remembered how, you know, people made fun of him. Kuna time mambo ya socks iliingia hapo katikati, unakumbuka. But safety belts. When you get into a vehicle and your safety belt is not functional, what do you do? And you've paid over 1,000 shillings to travel from Nairobi to your destination.
Let me come to safety belt. One, those safety belt, or if you find a vehicle, even with a safety belt working, is it of the standard? That is the first question.
The vehicle?
That safety belt, is it of the standard? In Europe, the safety belt must be in a car, and the safety belt must be of the standard. So when the rule of safety belt came, people went here in the combat about this and started doing them. And so when an accident happened, unakutaka huyu mtu ako kwa barabara, ametoka na safety belt, imekata. So we need to specify What is the standard we want? And any country which does not use standard is a problem. Because if we can do our roads within the standard which is laid there and the procedures, and we have a body for standard, and they have it. Like for instance today, you want to know the standard for belt. It is there. But who is following this standard? The standards must be followed. Because not only that you get to a vehicle and you click your belt there and you think you are safe. No, you might be like you don't have even any belt.
It might be useless.
It is useless.
How can you check as a
Look
pedestrian?
even at the school bus, which have been painted yellow. Get in those vehicles inside. You find a safety belt so big for a grown-up, and this vehicle is meant for kids. And they are safety belts for kids. But they want to use shortcut. Yes, because that one is very cheap. It's 1,200. The proper safety belt is 4,000. Now, with that 4,000 can save a life. But the 1,200 will never save a life. Today, you can even get a safety belt with 700 Kenya shillings.
Is that cheap?
It's that cheap. And that is what we want to use in our vehicle. They are using that even in these buses. Painted yellow outside. It's a school bus. But inside, they are rotten.
Still, wanna carry.
Yes.
How can a passenger know? No, because the common mwananchi cannot be able to get into a vehicle and know hii safety belt ni nzuri, hii ni mbaya, atajua vipi?
That is what I've said again. We need proper civic education.
Civic education.
People. And also, those people who are responsible for those jobs must do their jobs. My friend, we are saying, Nairobi County, we talk Nairobi, Kiambu County, there are problems. Whom can you blame? You should blame the party. Because it is the party who gave you that person. So if the party can scrutinize that person before you give us, then we win. So if you make sure that you scrutinize that vehicle before you bring it to the public, then we are good.
So for the public, they are not safe now because someone messed up at the top there.
This is the time.
Someone was supposed to scrutinize. Failed.
They have started now, but I think it is not too late. It is not too late.
Not too late.
But they should make sure that any vehicle going on our road, it is within the standard. You see, like now, they came up, just the other day, that is when they came up with the body structure standard. Whereby, before you could see a bus rolling and ni kama mkate. Inamaliza everybody.
I remember,
because the body is made of things you can't imagine.
I remember the time we had a certain vehicle that, got an accident coming to Nairobi. It was shattered to pieces. So many people died. And, complaints came in with regards to the age of the driver. Some said, even the vehicle itself, the materials that were used to, build the vehicle were substandard. How can we check on that?
One thing, as I told you, you see like now the vehicles which killed our people, Mombasa Road, one company. I don't blame them at this time because the standard which was used on that body is not conforming to the standards, the body standard. So when that vehicle hits another one and rolls, the impact is so bad. When we talk of somebody employing somebody who is old to drive his vehicle, what do you think he is trying to save? He's trying to save money because you don't want to employ a qualified driver. And this is why I keep on challenging the PSV vehicles. Owners, why do you want to employ a very cheap driver? Why do you want to pay something very cheap, somebody very cheap? Because a qualified driver, you must pay him well. Somebody who is trained even about defensive driving. You as the owner of the vehicle, why can't you take your driver to college? Why can't you train your driver?
You've reminded me of something here. As we talk about this, let's talk about traveling at night. What's the best time to travel? There was a time we had, it was banned, and the debate still came in. What's the best time for someone to travel to the country?
I always tell, and I want to tell listeners, traveling at night is very dangerous because most of our drivers have not been trained well to drive at night. And another thing, most of those people who control our road, that is traffic, NTSA, most of the time you'll not find them on the road. And this is a motion we are bringing, if it is possible, because we have tried to check from what time and what is that dangerous. But we have seen from 3 or from 2 to 4. How many hours are there? from 2 to 4. How many hours are there? 2 to 4. They're about 3 hours. Am I okay? Or 1 hour. So if we can agree as Kenyans, any big vehicle, this is happening in Uganda. When it reaches at 2, make sure you stop your vehicle. At 5, start your journey. So these few hours, I'm telling you, we tried this, but it was resistance from these people who are
should we keep trying to implement that in Kenya?
We
that
shall.
at a specific
At the end
time,
of the
all
day, we
vehicles
shall.
must stop.
Well, and let me tell you, the numbers will make people stop. The numbers and the accident which happened, particularly at that time. That is the time we lose so many Kenyans at night. And if we can agree, those 2-3 hours, just let that driver relax, and you start your journey. The game is over.
But Kenyans are in a hurry. Wanasema
No,
unaenda pole pole sana.
What is this hurry? Making money. But what loss do you leave after that? Like now, we were talking about how many people died. 7 people died. This accident which happened here from Modern Coast.
Mombasa,
Yeah.
Modern Coast.
Yeah, people, how many were injured? More than 30. But people are arguing that there are over 85 buses. These people are losing 8 million. What is 8 million compared only with 1 person?
Alive.
Alive. How can you compare that money with a life lost?
Let's talk about speed governors.
Yes.
Some vehicles don't have speed governors. Others have. And for some vehicles, they have been tampered with.
Let me tell you. Like now, I give you a very good example of that bus which had an accident. One bus was going at a speed of 120. That is not allowed. And it is at night. 120. So if anything happened, what do you expect from there? Let me tell you, we have a problem, and our attitude, from the word go I told you, we must change our altitude. We must think of our brothers and sisters. You must know when you cause an accident, or if you harm somebody there, you are injuring a big family. Because like you, how many people depend on you? Many. So if we kill you today, there are people who will start suffering from that time. And this is exactly what is happening. We don't love each other. And this is why you see, like today, anything to do with road safety, which has been brought, any measures have gone through the court. They bring the smart driving license so that we can know the driver. It has been in court for 2 years. People stopping it. Akobro came, stopped for 2 years. These are the speed governors which have come, the new ones, the one which now you don't need for a policeman to be on the road. The vehicle reports itself. It is in the court. Now you can imagine our attitude, our culture.
We lack priority. We don't have the right attitude. We don't have
we want just
education.
to make money. We don't want to be patient. And we are just thinking, how can I get my money? I don't care how I get it. This is why even Al-Shabaab come here, he will give you 20 million. You will tell him, go and kill. Pass through that area.
Let's talk about loading of luggages now. Because people are going to be traveling, a bus has so much load at the top. How can that be dangerous for a vehicle?
It is very dangerous. And it is very dangerous because weight is one thing. This is why you see when we talked about PSV vehicles, people used to go and buy the rolly chassis, and then you just put a body. The rolly chassis is very high. So when you put any load, this vehicle can veer off quickly.
It tampers with the center of gravity.
Exactly. But now a PSV body, it is near the ground. So that if anything, if there is a corner, now it will be able to sustain that corner. So when you put luggage on top of your vehicle, and it's heavy, the gravity, my friend, if you have gone to school, it is clear what can happen. When you take the speed and the gravity and going on, you know what will happen. Yeah.
Now, as we talk about luggages, I would like you to touch on the issues to do with stopping at some point. Someone comes from Nairobi, moves into, maybe you're going to Mombasa or to Kisumu, and at some point you must stop. But passengers complain that, hey, the time you're using to stop is too much. Let us continue express. How can we have that to be catered with so that at the end of the day, yes, everyone is happy and everyone is safe?
Let me tell you, as I told you, We don't need to bring any other laws. The law is very clear, particularly for the vehicles which are going long distance. It's very clear. You must have two drivers. But now, let me tell you what they do. It is true they will have two drivers, like the coast, the way it was. But you find the other driver is seated in the same bus, going with the other driver. Is that person resting? Surely? He's not resting.
He's also awake?
He's awake. He's not resting.
So there's no difference?
The driver is tired. There's no different. Yes, you have the two drivers. But we are not, there must be an agreement that from Nairobi to Mutito one day, you'll find a driver who was sleeping. He will wake up now, go bath, take the vehicle to Mombasa. It's very clear. The other driver sleep there.
But in this case,
they are
awake.
Two drivers,
Both awake.
but the two drivers are in the same vehicle. One driver is driving. He reaches Mutito one day, he gives the other one the bus. Those are two tired drivers. Because even if you are a passenger, go to Nairobi, from Nairobi to Mombasa, you are tired and you are not driving. So it's the same with that person. He's a human being.
Wanapiga story.
Wanapiga story. Na wanaangalia barabara vile babo hiyo. So Atuja hits what we want. So it's to make sure that if it is NTSA rules, regulations must be very clear. That driver must be resting somewhere. And I think there are so many bodies which have even started erecting places for drivers to rest. But these people would not like to pay them.
Why?
They want quick money. And even you find even some of the drivers are just conductors. You don't want to employ a conductor. You want to give a conductor. The driver, you give him the job of a conductor and the driver. So the time he gets out of the steering wheel, the other conductor, driver gets to the wheel. So
let's talk about these public service vehicles, the ones that now carry the passengers for long distances. What should a passenger do? And this is with regards to how clustered these vehicles can be. Because at some point, yes, the seats are there, but if you look at the number of seats vis-a-vis the number of passengers, they don't fit. They don't go hand in hand. What do you do? Because here we have 3 seats that have been put, but based on how they are, they can only occupy 2 people. How can that be catered for?
Let me tell you, this happens after a vehicle goes from inspection or something happened, because at the inspection place, that is where even, if it is a 14, and it's very clear, 14-seater, the seats must be properly, when it goes for inspection. If it is a 36, the inspector and the inspection must get in, make sure that those seats are proper. And surely, that is 6 people, it can only carry that 6 people. But after inspection, anything can happen. They go put, because they want to make more money, they even add other seats. They can do anything. If they are not able to add the seats, they put the saucer, I don't know whether it's ugali saucer, they put some bows there, whereby they can put the people there like bags of potatoes, and I blame those people who get in those vehicles.
You blame them?
I blame them, because you can see the vehicle is full, and you are squeezing yourself there. You also want to kill other people in that vehicle.
Wanasema mkae kama PK.
Na unakaa, na unajiskuma. My friend, that is why I said from the word go, it is all of us to change.
But you know, these seats don't go hand in hand with the size of your body.
So that is why I'm telling you.
Hazitoshani.
Hazitoshani, na hata zikitoshana, my friend, utasukumwa, manake mbao itawekwa hapo usukumwe kabisa. So,
kama gunia.
Kama gunia. Say when you get in that vehicle, stoshei, toka kwa hiyo gari. That person will repair those seats.
Kama hutoshi, toka.
Toka. Another one come, toka. That guy will know I'm losing business. Lakini now they are making a lot of money. Amekuwekea kiti hivyo ujikunje, and they can see unaenda kujikunja.
And there is no leg room.
And you are paying, and they will never reduce a shilling. Kwa sababu umekaa vibaya.
What about, there is no leg room? The distance between pale umekaa and miguu yako.
That is what I'm saying. Why do you get in that vehicle? Can you imagine 2 people getting in that vehicle, atoke. Mwingine akuje atoke. Hiyo gari iende bila mtu hapo. My friend, hiyo gari will not go to business. Wataipeleka wairekebishe. Tumekosa abiria kwa sababu ya hii. Lakini if they continue getting jobs, business, my friend, we will be, this is what I'm saying, about road safety is for all of us.
All right. Let's talk about these online applications that have come up for road travelers. We have there are so many, several, you know, mingi zimekuja. How would you address that? How do you move forward with regards to addressing these online applications that cater for transportation?
You know, one I want to tell you, we cannot fight technology.
Yes.
And we should embrace on technology. But also when we are talking of technology, we have to know what area are we touching. Because also social media, there are places we have seen is not doing very well. But what I want to say, you know, all these apps and everything is people trying to get something, because when you just go through that, others are doing well, others are not doing anything. Others will even be able to tell you the experience of the driver who is in that vehicle, how long he has driven a vehicle, at what time did he take that vehicle. So such are the apps which can help us. And I think even NTSA is creating one, which will be very important for the movie, because when you get the vehicle, you just enter the number plate of that vehicle, you get all the information of the vehicle, and through your phone, you can be able to see the speed the driver is doing.
Oh, from your phone?
From your phone. When you're just seated, you can see that my driver is driving me at this speed. When you see anajaribu to exceed, then there is a question as you as a passenger. So there are these, we cannot blame all of them. And we need them.
You know,
technology.
These mobile apps are so many. You know, at some point, complaints come in with regards to safety of Kenyans. How safe are they when they use some of them?
You know, but let me tell you, as long as you are not driving a vehicle and you continue using your phone, there is no problem. Use them. The problem is when you don't concentrate on the road. Our problem is that person behind the wheel should not even have a phone, if possible. A good driver is a driver who concentrates, because concentration on the road is what is bringing all these accidents. You should not even go eating when you're in your vehicle. That is wrong. You should not go touching other people here and you're still driving. There's that lack of concentration, because anything can happen. An innocent person can just pass through, because there's a problem, you just kill that person. Lakini kama unge concentrate, you would have seen and you would have saved that life.
You've talked about a lot. So we can just say that these online technology, you know, they are good. The mobile apps, they are good. Yes. Regardless of whichever you want to use, yes, they're all good.
Yes, there is nothing wrong with it. The only thing, you know, if the app is there is education, or it's trying to educate you on something. Okay. It's not bad, you can use them.
Let's talk about security. We have had so many passengers, or so many Kenyans who have gone through different unfortunate experiences. Rape. Some have been killed. Some have been, you know, stolen from, you know, some have been smugged. It has been quite alarming, because some of them use border. Some of them use these mobile applications. How can you reduce that? How can Kenyans be safe?
Let me say, and I want to say this. You know, the reason why we were coming up with circles to be given power, because when you talk not only in boda, you have seen women raped in matatus.
Even in matatus, yes.
And you find the matatu is plying this route. Reason being, that circle has not discipline. That circle is not managing their vehicles. Because a circle which is managing their vehicle, they know the name of the driver who is in that vehicle, they know the number, the name of the conductor, who knows very well when it is reported, he will lose his job. But you can imagine a matatu whereby they know even the circle, they don't know even the driver who is in that vehicle. And this is our fight as an association. We are fighting NTSA to make sure that they remove all the rag circles who are not properly registered.
You know, these circles are so many. There are so many.
There are so many.
We can reduce them.
And let me tell you, this is why I've told you, these apps are not that bad. They can be used in a bad way, and also you can use it in the right way. Because if now NTSA come with that app, that you have just registered the vehicle which is you are in, and you see something funny happening, you just press, you send. The alarm is on the other side. So you will be able to be rescued. With the same app, they can use that app, and you can be hijacked by the same app. And the same apps, you can use the same apps to rescue you. This is why I'm telling you, we cannot fight technology. And if we want to embrace this country, is to add more technology in our country. Is to embrace technology in our country. That is the time our country will grow.
Can these circles also be regulated?
There is everything to do with the regulation of circles. But I'm telling you a number of them full of that. Somebody with 2 vehicles is running a circle, and we know they are there. So this is where we are saying we need NTSA to properly regulate circles. If a circle is operating, we want to know who is the chairman of that circle, the office bearers, so that they give us a record of their drivers. And this will help us even when they are coming up with those apps, because they know which driver drives this vehicle. If there is an exchange of a driver, which driver? But now we have these vehicles, and you still find these camagueras, whereby he reaches somewhere, he gives somebody who is not recorded on that vehicle. That person can do anything. Yes, anything, because he can be taken away. Yes.
Okay, Bwana Kiarie, there is concerns come up when passengers are en route to their location. And we have seen these posters, these signs within the matatus there, ongea, usinyamaze. In case a driver overspeeds or goes through some potholes and then anapita through, some complain, but sisi gunia. They complain, stop speeding. And the driver does not. Because we've had cases of accidents that have occurred. And if you go to the hospitals, hear the testimonies, they say we complained, but the driver never listened. What do we do?
Let me tell you, my brother, and we talk to our passengers. You can tie a full bull, very strong, on a plastic pole there. And if it wants to go, it can just go. So you have a responsibility of your life. Don't let anybody go and kill you. Don't let somebody drive the vehicle the way he wants. You are the boss on that vehicle. You are the person who is paying for that loan, for that vehicle.
Piga kelele.
Piga kelele. Na tata wacha kupiga kelele. Ambia driver, I am warning you, stop. Saa nyingine, it is interesting. Unakuta the driver who is in that vehicle, he's Mkamba. Somebody very lean. Now unakuta jamaa very strong there, anaongelesha vile wanataka. Ambia driver, stop that vehicle now. I want to alight. Another passenger says that. I'm telling you, that driver, the whole of that trip, atakuwa disciplined like something else. Lakini sisi we tend, wacha tu iende. Lakini the time that accident happened, you will never see that driver again. You will be taken to hospital, shamba yako itauzwa, so that you get out of that hospital, you will sell your property, and if you don't sell your property, you will leave your children to suffer because of somebody, and you are paying him, and you are the boss. Because if these people will go to the bank to get these matatus, who pay for them? It is you, the passenger.
And the passenger doesn't know that they are the boss.
The passenger does not know he's the boss. He is controlled like go there. And he is the owner of that vehicle. If the owner of that vehicle needed that vehicle, he should buy, this is why we call them PSV vehicles. And there's private vehicle. Private vehicle belongs to you. But a PSV vehicle belongs to public. That is a public vehicle. Because they are the people who are paying for this loan. So you are seated there, you are the boss, but now you are controlled by your worker. Somebody you are paying.
Anapita kwa shimo.
Anapita kwa shimo, the boss is just watching. It's interesting. You should be saying, you are the boss, tell him, can you stop that vehicle? This way we say, ongea, zungumza, say something. Don't just keep quiet. Don't just start telling us, hey, your gari ilikuwa inapelekwa vibaya sana, when already you are in a hospital bed, spending money. My brother, if you break an arm in this country today, you don't have 200,000 Kenya shillings, you will not treat that arm. If you break your leg, just breaking the leg one time, you cannot treat that leg if you don't have from 350,000. Even seeing a doctor is 3,000, 2,000, just seeing a doctor. That time he has not treated you.
Any consultation too?
Consultation peke yake. Lakini ulikuwa umelipa fare ya 100. Sasa unaanza kulipa 150. Kama hauna hiyo pesa, watu wengi kwa sababu ya huruma wanauza shamba. Or wanafanya harambe. Why?
I have Daniel is saying, I'm loving the show, interesting debate on road safety. For sure, Kenyans need to take caution as they travel to their different locations. We have here Angela is saying, I'm loving the show, watching you from Kisii. Thank you very much, Ram, for what you're doing. All right, we have Valentine Anasema. I love the passion in this man. He knows what he's doing. All right.
Thank you very much.
So I would like you to give us your final word. Advise Kenyans. Now it's Christmas. It is, the festivities are there. New Year's are coming. What word would you like to leave with the Kenyans? That is your camera.
First of all, I want to tell you, Kenyans, we want to see you 2020. You are very important in this country. We want you to be there alive, 2020, working, continuing with your business. The body is not like a car whereby you can go to a shop and buy parts and replace. When you have an accident, you cannot replace your parts. So all what I want to tell you, please, during this time, be very careful when it comes to road safety. Talk. Do everything to make sure that you save your own life. Don't let anybody take you the way they want. You drivers, remember that you are carrying lives. These are your sisters, these are your brothers. Make sure you follow traffic rules to the letter, and we will avoid these accidents.
Asante sana. That is Bwana Kiarie Njoroge Kiarie, Chairman of the Road Safety Association of Kenya.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, my brother.
Nashukuru sana.
Asante sana.
That is, all about road safety. But you can give us your feedback. Keep testing, keep tweeting. The SMS line is 20154. The hashtag is Good Morning Kenya on Twitter, at KBC Television and at Ramaguko. That brings us to the end of this discussion. What questions do you have? Send them in. My name is Ramaguko. We are taking a short break. We'll be back in a bit. Keep it Good Morning Kenya. This is KBC.
Sijakuharibia hasho.
Uko sawa?